Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of The Fault in Our YouTube Stars podcast. I'm your host, Dulio11, and today I'm here joined with my loyal, amazing co-host, Mr. LL Lofter.
Hello everyone, I'm live for the Black Tiger.
I'm also joined with the incredibly talented Zuurix.
Hello.
Today on the podcast we've got a set of questions for the creator of Sector 6. I got them all listed out here. These are actually ones from various fans on Steam, because I started a little post. So all of these are from fans of your game. Which
I'm here to answer the questions, whatever questions you have.
First question is, what sparked your game development career?
I always loved games, computer games. Since I was 12, it was when I first was introduced to computer, and it was pretty late. And I have found out what awesome things are games, and since then I wanted to create my game by myself.
Interest.
And it's
sorry, go ahead.
It's my biggest passion. It's the thing that I enjoy doing most: making games and playing games. My life revolves around games.
Alright, for the next question, how'd you come up with the name Sector 6?
It's actually comes from other game I made. It was called Sector 7, and this Sector 6 is actually like a sequel of Sector 7. And the original Sector 7, I don't remember what exactly inspired me to create that name. I think it was just a random combination of words. And from Sector 7, I asked myself what sector is, and then I came up with a very complicated explanation: what is a sector? And from there I began building the game story. But the origin of that name is unknown.
Do you have to look up the meaning of sector? 'Cause I don't know it.
Oh yeah, I don't know what it means, if I'm being honest.
Let's say our universe, right? It's just another sector, and there's other sectors. It's basically, sector is a universe. Our universe is not one. There's more, and each universe is a sector of bigger universe. That is only one. Like I said, it's pretty complicated.
Actually, an interesting question I have for you is, why do you use a Game Maker Studio over other gaming programs to create games? What made that one stick out?
3 years ago, I have decided to start making games. Like I said, it was my dream to make my own games. So I learned about a little programming, and then I started looking for something to use that programming knowledge somewhere to create my own game. I have tried to download various strange programs, compilers. I didn't know how to start using them, and then I browsing through internet. I found about Game Maker, so I downloaded it, tried it, did a few tutorials, and I liked it that much that I continued working with it until now, and I don't even considering changing the engine. It's why I like Game Maker is because it's both simple to use and it doesn't limit what you can do with it. You can do anything. and it's simple. That's why I'm using it.
Yeah, because I've not created an amazing game, but I've used Game Maker Studio before, and it's very easy to use. The tutorials are pretty well made, well, majority of them are, and I think I made like Pong, which is really simple to make in Game Maker a couple of years ago, but it's a really cool studio, and it's probably one that I'm thinking of using if I were to make any games. But simply, currently at the moment, I lack talent, if I'm being completely honest. But what's the meaning behind your username, Zuurix?
Uh, like which name of Sector 6, it's a long journey. First, it started about, I don't know how many years, 5 maybe, 7. I have joined an online game, MMORPG, RuneScape, and I had to pick a name for my character. So back then I was still playing Flash games, and there was a game called Turtix, something about turtles. I never really played it, so I changed it a bit, changed it into Turix. Later I changed it into Zuurix. Later I started writing a book, then I used the same name Zuurix for my main protagonist, and when I started making games, it was natural to me to choose the same old Zuurix.
Alright, a little question from me is, the original demo of the game through I believe Game Maker Studio, or a service where you can just download other people's builds of games and then just straight up play them. I played your like really early version of Sector 6 a couple months back, or maybe even at least 6 months back. And the original is 1360 by 768, but the one right now has black borders. Why did you decide to change and put borders?
Well, Game Maker has few options. You can make the full screen to scale fully, no black borders, or you can make it to keep a aspect ratio of the game, and that creates black boulders. I am planning to fix that in future, and I decided to go with black borders because I felt the game looks better with them, and it's not scaled. But I want to make it that it would be possible to choose between full scale and aspect ratio.
Alright. Are there any games that you drew particular inspiration from in creating Sector 6?
There are a few games that inspired certain parts of Sector 6, but mainly it's just my ideas.
Alright. How long have you been working on Sector 6 now?
I think I'm working on Sector 6 since 2015 January, so almost 3 years.
Wow. How long did you spend on... You said you made like a game called Sector 7? How long did you spend on that?
Yeah. That was my second game, and it took me about 2 months.
Oh, what was your first game?
My first game was called Zoland, again from Zuurix, and it was tiny, barely functioning RPG, and it took me about a month to make, and it's where my game development journey began.
My friend here, Luan,
Yes.
sorry to kind of call you out, but he hasn't really heard much about Sector 6. But when it
Yes,
gets in the Steam sale, I am going to buy him a copy. But if you had to describe your game to my friend who has heard barely anything about it, like he's looked at the store page a couple of times, how would you describe Sector 6 to someone who has not really heard anything about it yet?
Well, I call Sector 6 RPG and shoot 'em up hybrid. It's also inspired a lot by games that are called Diablo clones that have random loot, deep character customization, but combat is similar to shoot 'em ups.
Alright. When at what times do you work on Sector 6?
That's that really varies. Sometimes I work more, sometimes I work less, sometimes I work in the evenings, sometimes in the mornings. Really, I don't have any schedule, just try to find as much time as possible.
Yeah. You gotta find the free time, I guess, to add more features and things. What's is there any like requested feature in the game that's been requested excessively over and over again?
Well, there was many people wanted a controller support, but it's already been.
You added that recently.
Already. Yes, it's already in game, and I guess the second most funded feature was ability to buy and sell items. So I'm working on that right now.
Sounds really cool. How did you design the Sector 6 graphics? This is a question from Computer Ryan. They look great and unique. That's his comment on the graphics.
I'm not very good at making graphics, so I decided to make a game made out of very simple graphics that I could make these graphics look good. Basically, I chose the silhouette art style because it's probably the only art style that I can make look good. Otherwise, it's just a programmer art.
How was the storyline in Sector 6 inspired? Did you get any kind of other video games that you kind of based the Sector 6 storyline off of, or was it just completely original?
Like I said, I tried to explain to find an explanation for a term sector, and that explanation turned into a Sector 6 story.
Alright. Do you have any extra interesting little factoids to say about Sector 6? Anything kind of in the game's development you might just want to point out to anyone who's listening?
I don't know really. Right now, nothing comes to my mind. Anything secret little facts.
Alright. The people in Sector 6. This is a comment from one of the people who I think has played through the game fully. Are they cyborg or some kind of mechanical-based race, or are they just wearing heavy suits?
People of Sector 6 are similar to us, but they're slightly different, and yes, they're wearing the heavy armor suits, the ones that are seen in game from character portraits.
Alright. I'm just wondering if the illness of Azimar, I think that's how you pronounce it, was genetically designed for, or is it natural?
it's natural thing and it's very rare. For example, in Earth, such a phenomenon might not exist because you would need a lot more people for such rare thing to occur. For example, 20 billion.
Wow. This is also a thing that I've been meaning to comment on your profile. Who is Bert Cole working on the amazing OST of the game? I couldn't find him anywhere on the internet myself.
Bert Cole is my composer, and I met him on one of indie game websites. He offered me to make music for my game, and I agreed. And he made the music, and that's about as much as I know about him. We mostly talk through email, and I'm pretty happy with the music he made it.
Yeah, I've got myself the 3 DLC. The music's really good, so tell him that Dooley said the music's great. What will the new ship class be like?
Well, right now you can find hints in the game about the classes that are not released yet, Titan class and Nomad class. But there is one class that I plan to add, but it's mentioned nowhere. It's called Pantheon class ship. It's a special kind of ship that abilities for that class will be unlocked through the story missions, if I'll ever add it. The Pantheon class ship is a Almada ship, and it uses powerful abilities that they're far above other class abilities, but they also have a little chance of catastrophe, major downside. So you can use it, but your spaceship may explode randomly. I don't know how that will work out, but that's my idea for a new class.
Luan, are you interested in making games in the future? I think you said sometimes that you'd be.
Yeah. If I don't get like the job I get in the future, then I'll think of making games. So it's good to talk to other game developers.
Zuurix, what would you say to Luan here about making games? Is there any advice you'd kind of offer on?
Well, I can say that the game development is very hard thing to do, but also very rewarding. It's amazing to see your game grow.
Great community out of it, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least that's how it went for me. And well, I wouldn't recommend game development as a money-making thing. It's really hard to make money of it, but as a dream job, it's great.
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to have like another job and have game developing on the side. Kind of a side thing because you can't get direct money for it, I guess. Anyway, do you have anything else to say about Sector 6?
Do you mind if I ask a few questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I haven't stopped looking at this Steam page of it. And I can't help noticing the thumbnail of the game, like the picture of it. Was there like a certain program you used to make it, or did someone else make it?
That image is made by my brother. He recently started making digital art, and I asked for him to make a picture for Sector 6, and it turned out so great that I decided to use it as a store picture and everywhere else.
And also, have you thought of making other games past Sector 6? Like any other games or...
Definitely. I'm planning to making games for at least a few years from now on. And probably beyond that.
I reckon you can beat Bethesda to making Elder Scrolls 6, mate. I reckon you can make it quicker than they can, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
It might be 2D, but I reckon you could beat them to it. Because they're taking so long with Elder Scrolls 6, it's ridiculous, to be honest. Anyway, is there any other things you'd like to ask, Luan?
Just one more. So, have you ever thought of teaming up with someone or a few other people to help develop the game? Or
Quite opposite of that. I actually want to learn to make a music and sound effects so I could do the entire game myself. I'm not a team person. I like to doing when everything in game is made by me. It feels really good for me. Also, if I had an artist, it would be pretty hard for me to reject his work if I didn't like it for some ridiculous small detail. I'm perfectionist when it comes to games.
okay.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to appear on the podcast. Thank you very much. Hopefully we can have you on in the future or something when you have Elder Scrolls 6 up. If you're listening on iTunes, then leave us a review. If you're listening on YouTube, remember to spam the YouTube comments with Zuurix is awesome. Go purchase Sector 6 in the description below as a link to the store page. Go support Zuurix for making such an awesome original game. And again, if you're listening on iTunes, leave a review, because I want to start reading those reviews before I begin the episodes. Because knowing the internet, I always want to wake up to kill yourself messages. It's always entertaining for myself, to be honest. But yeah, I want to thank you so much again for appearing on the cast. I'll see you guys in the next podcast episode. Peace out. Have a good day.